Listen, and listen carefully. We're about to embark on a journey that's not for the faint of heart. It's a path that will challenge everything you think you know about success, about wealth, about the very nature of existence itself. And let me tell you, it's not going to be comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the siren song that lulls you into a state of mediocrity, that keeps you trapped in the cycles of poverty and despair. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment that you're standing at the edge of a vast, dark forest. This forest is your life, and it's filled with dangers, with pitfalls, with challenges that seem insurmountable. But here's the thing. That forest is also filled with opportunities, with treasures beyond your wildest dreams. The question is, are you willing to step into that darkness? Are you willing to face your fears, to confront the chaos, and to emerge on the other side as something more?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
You see, poverty isn't just about a lack of money. It's a state of mind, a set of behaviors, a way of being in the world that keeps you small, that keeps you trapped. And if you want to break free from that trap, you need to understand something fundamental. The world doesn't owe you anything. The universe is indifferent to your suffering. It's up to you to make something of yourself, to create meaning in a world that often seems meaningless. But here's the good news. There's a way out, a path through that dark forest. And it starts with understanding the power of avoidance and abstinence. 3 things to avoid, 4 to abstain from. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But I can assure you, it's anything but. This is the hero's journey, the alchemical transformation that will turn the lead of your current existence into pure gold. Let's start with the 3 avoids. First, avoid the trap of victimhood. It's so easy, isn't it, to blame others for our problems, to point the finger at society, at our parents, at the system. But let me tell you something. The moment you cast yourself as a victim, you give away your power. You become a leaf in the wind, blown about by forces beyond your control. And that, my friends, is a recipe for perpetual poverty. Instead, you need to take responsibility, radical responsibility, for everything in your life. And I mean everything. Your job, your relationships, your health, your bank account, all of it. It's a heavy burden, I know. But it's also incredibly liberating, because once you accept that you're the author of your own story, you can begin to write a different ending. The second thing to avoid is the pursuit of immediate gratification. We live in a world that's constantly trying to sell us on the idea that we deserve everything now, that waiting is for suckers. But here's the truth. Anything worth having takes time. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. The ability to delay gratification, to forgo the pleasures of the moment for the rewards of the future, is one of the most powerful predictors of success in life. Think about it. The poor man buys the latest gadget on credit, while the rich man invests in assets that will generate income for years to come. The poor man spends his evenings watching mindless entertainment, while the rich man spends his time learning, growing, building. It's not about denying yourself pleasure. It's about understanding that the greatest pleasures in life come from achievement, from growth, from becoming more than you were yesterday. And the third avoid? Avoid the trap of comparison. Theodore Roosevelt once said that comparison is the thief of joy, and he was right. But it's more than that. Comparison is also the thief of progress. When you're constantly measuring yourself against others, you're not focused on your own journey. You're not asking yourself the hard questions about what you truly want, about what success means to you. You see, Poverty isn't just about money. There are people with millions in the bank who are spiritually and emotionally impoverished, and there are people living on very little who are rich beyond measure in the things that truly matter. So stop looking at your neighbor's lawn and start tending to your own garden. Now, these avoids are crucial. They're the foundation upon which we'll build, but they're not enough on their own. We also need to abstain from certain behaviors, certain patterns of thought that keep us mired in mediocrity, and this is where things get really interesting. The first abstention is from negative self-talk, the voice in your head, that constant commentator on your life. It's lying to you. It's telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve success, that you'll never amount to anything. And here's the kicker, you believe it. You've internalized these messages so deeply that they've become your reality. But what if I told you that voice isn't you? What if I told you that you have the power to change the narrative, to rewrite the script? It starts with awareness, with catching yourself in the act of self-sabotage, and then, slowly but surely, replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones. Not empty affirmations, mind you, but genuine, grounded beliefs in your own potential. This isn't some New Age mumbo-jumbo. This is neuroscience. This is psychology. This is the hard-won wisdom of centuries of human experience. Your thoughts create your reality. So if you want to escape poverty, you need to start thinking like someone who's already escaped it. The second abstention is from toxic relationships, and this one's going to hurt, because it might mean letting go of people you care about. People who've been in your life for years. But here's the brutal truth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those people are negative, if they're pessimistic, if they're stuck in their own cycles of poverty and despair, they're going to drag you down with them. It's not about abandoning people. It's about setting boundaries. It's about protecting your own energy, your own aspirations. And yes, sometimes it means making the hard choice to walk away. But remember, nature abhors a vacuum. When you remove the negative influences from your life, you create space for positive ones to enter. The third abstention is from the consumption of low-quality information. In the age of social media, of 24/7 news cycles, of endless entertainment options, it's so easy to fill our minds with junk. With celebrity gossip, with outrage porn, with mindless distractions. But your mind is like a garden. What are you planting in it? Are you feeding it with ideas that will help you grow, that will challenge you to think in new ways? Or are you filling it with weeds that choke out any chance of real growth? This doesn't mean you have to live like a monk, cut off from the world, but it does mean being intentional about what you allow into your consciousness. Read books that challenge you. Listen to podcasts that teach you new skills. Engage in conversations that expand your worldview. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. Treat it with the respect it deserves. And the fourth abstention? This one's the hardest of all. Abstain from the fear of failure. Now, I'm not saying you should embrace failure. Failure hurts. Failure is painful. But the fear of failure, that's paralyzing. That's what keeps you stuck in jobs you hate, in relationships that don't serve you, in a life that's a pale shadow of what it could be. You need to understand something fundamental about failure. It's not the opposite of success. It's a necessary step on the path to success. Every great achievement in human history was preceded by countless failures. The Wright brothers crashed plane after plane before they finally took flight. Edison tested thousands of materials before he found the right filament for the light bulb. Failure isn't just an option, it's a requirement. So how do you abstain from the fear of failure? By reframing it. By seeing it not as an endpoint, but as feedback. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to reassess, to adjust course, to come back stronger. And here's the real secret. The more you fail, the less power failure has over you. You become resilient. You become anti-fragile. You become someone who can weather any storm, who can rise from any fall. Now, I want you to take a moment to really let these ideas sink in, because what we're talking about here isn't just a set of rules to follow. It's a complete paradigm shift. It's about fundamentally changing the way you interact with the world, with others, with yourself. And that kind of change, it's not easy, it's not comfortable, but it's necessary. You see, poverty isn't just an economic condition. It's a state of being. It's a set of habits, of thought patterns, of behaviors that keep you trapped in a cycle of lack. And breaking that cycle requires more than just making more money. It requires a complete overhaul of who you are at the deepest level. So I want you to ask yourself, are you ready for that kind of transformation? Are you willing to face the darkness within yourself, to confront the habits and beliefs that have held you back? Are you prepared to become someone new, someone stronger, someone capable of creating the life you've always dreamed of? Because that's what this journey is about. It's not just about escaping poverty. It's about becoming the kind of person for whom poverty is simply not an option. It's about tapping into the wellspring of potential that exists within each of us, waiting to be unleashed. In the next part of our exploration, we're going to dive deeper into each of these avoids and abstains. We're going to explore the psychological underpinnings of why they work, and we're going to provide practical strategies for implementing them in your life. But for now, I want you to sit with these ideas, to really contemplate their implications. Because the journey we're about to embark on, it's going to change everything. Very well. Let's delve deeper into the abyss of self-transformation. We've laid the groundwork, but now it's time to get our hands dirty. It's time to confront the demons that lurk in the shadows of our psyche, the habits that keep us chained to mediocrity, the beliefs that whisper in our ears that we're not worthy of greatness. Let's start with the first avoid, the trap of victimhood. This is a seductive narrative, isn't it? The world is against you. The system is rigged. You never had a chance. It's comforting, in a perverse way, because it absolves you of responsibility. But make no mistake, it's a poison. It's a slow-acting venom that paralyzes your will, that atrophies your ability to act. So how do we avoid this trap? It starts with a radical shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "How can I?" This isn't about denying the reality of injustice or hardship. It's about refusing to let those things define you. Think about the great figures of history who rose from poverty, who overcame seemingly insurmountable odds. Do you think they spent their time bemoaning their fate? No. They were too busy working, learning, growing, seizing every opportunity that presented itself. But here's the thing. This shift isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's a moment-by-moment choice to take control of your narrative. And it's hard. There will be days when the weight of the world feels crushing, when it seems easier to give in to despair. Those are the moments that define you. Those are the crucibles in which your character is forged. Now let's talk about the second avoid, the pursuit of immediate gratification. This is perhaps the most insidious trap of all, because it masquerades as pleasure, as reward. But it's a false friend. It's the siren song that lures you onto the rocks of perpetual poverty. We live in a world of instant everything. Fast food, fast fashion, fast entertainment. We've been conditioned to expect immediate results, immediate satisfaction. But here's the brutal truth. Anything worth having takes time. Success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if you're not willing to delay gratification, to put in the work now for rewards that may not come for years, you're setting yourself up for a life of perpetual lack. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy yourself. It doesn't mean living a life of constant deprivation. But it does mean being strategic about your pleasures. It means understanding the difference between investments and expenses. That $5 on coffee every morning, that's not just $5. That's $5 plus the compound interest it could have earned if invested over 10, 20, 30 years. But it goes beyond money. It's about how you spend your time, your energy, your attention. Are you investing in skills that will pay dividends for years to come? Are you building relationships that will support and elevate you? Are you cultivating habits that will serve you in the long run? This is where discipline comes in. And let me tell you, discipline is freedom. It's the ability to choose what you want most over what you want now. It's the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Start small. Set a goal for the day, something challenging but achievable. Maybe it's reading for an hour instead of watching TV. Maybe it's saving a small amount of money. Whatever it is, do it. Then do it again the next day and the next. Build that discipline muscle. Because once you master delayed gratification, you'll have unlocked one of the most powerful tools for escaping poverty. Now the third avoid, comparison. This one's tricky because we're hardwired for it. In our evolutionary past, comparing ourselves to others was a survival mechanism. But in today's world, it's a recipe for misery. Social media has made this problem exponentially worse. We're constantly bombarded with curated highlights of other people's lives. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking everyone else has it figured out, that you're somehow falling behind. But here's what you need to understand. Everyone is on their own journey. Everyone is fighting battles you know nothing about. That person you envy, they might be drowning in debt. That couple with the perfect relationship, they might be on the brink of divorce. You simply don't know. More importantly, comparing yourself to others robs you of your own unique path. Your definition of success might be completely different from someone else's, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's essential. So how do we avoid the comparison trap? First, limit your exposure to triggers. If social media makes you feel inadequate, take a break from it. If certain people in your life constantly make you feel like you're not measuring up, distance yourself from them. Second, focus on your own progress. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Celebrate your own wins, no matter how small they might seem. Did you learn something new today? That's a win. Did you face a fear? That's a win. Did you take one small step towards your goals? That's a win. And third, practice gratitude. This isn't some feel-good platitude. This is a scientifically proven method for increasing happiness and reducing stress. Every day, take a few moments to acknowledge what's good in your life. It might be something as simple as a warm bed to sleep in, or a meal on your table. This practice shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, and it's a powerful antidote to the poison of comparison. Now, I want you to understand something crucial about these avoids. They're not just isolated tactics, they're interconnected strategies that reinforce each other. When you avoid victimhood, You take control of your life, which makes it easier to delay gratification. When you delay gratification, you start to see progress, which reduces the need for comparison. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you're less likely to fall into a victim mentality. This is the alchemy we're talking about. This is how you start to transmute the lead of poverty into the gold of prosperity. But make no mistake, this is not a quick fix. This is not a magic pill. This is a lifelong journey of self-discovery, of self-mastery. And here's the thing. This journey never ends. Even when you've escaped the clutches of financial poverty, you'll find new challenges, new forms of poverty to overcome. Poverty of spirit, poverty of purpose, poverty of meaning. Because true wealth, true prosperity isn't just about money, it's about living a life of richness in all areas. So, I want you to take a moment now to really sit with these ideas, to feel the weight of the challenge before you. Because what we're talking about here isn't just about changing your circumstances, it's about changing who you are at the deepest level. Are you ready for that kind of transformation? Are you willing to face the discomfort, the uncertainty, the sheer terrifying freedom of taking full responsibility for your life? Because if you are, if you're truly ready to embark on this hero's journey, then you're already on the path out of poverty. In our next segment, we'll explore the 4 abstains. We'll dive into the habits and behaviors you need to eliminate from your life if you want to rise above your current circumstances. But for now, I want you to start practicing these avoids. Catch yourself when you fall into victimhood thinking. Notice when you're reaching for that quick fix instead of investing in your future. Be aware of when you're comparing your journey to someone else's. This awareness is the first step, and it's a crucial one, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. You can't transform what you don't confront. So, are you ready to continue this journey? Are you prepared to face the next set of challenges on the path to prosperity?